5 premium horses. United States. A step back in time to the 1800s in the United States, a period when the slave market had a peculiar obsession with light-skinned black young girls known as fancy girls. Quite astonishingly, white men would pay up to $2,000 for a fancy girl, an amount equivalent to nearly $80,000 today. To put this into perspective, with $2,000, one could acquire 500 acres of land or even 5 premium horses. A skilled craftsman of the time would need to work for a staggering 10 years to earn this sum. And brace yourselves, one of the highest prices recorded for a fancy girl was a whopping $5,233, around $200,000 in today's money. Indeed, owning a fancy girl became a status symbol among slave traders, gamblers, and saloon keepers. A dark chapter in history, yet one we must not forget. Step back in time to the 18...
Today I'm going to be talking about something really rough, so let me give you a trigger warning. I'll be talking about young girls being used for sex in the history of the United States of America. Let me also say that I keep getting dinged for using the word, so I'm going to be using the term property-owning man and things like that to get around it. So it's a little bit of a pain, but welcome to algorithmic morality or something. Anyway, back in the 19th century America, property-owning men used the term fancy girl to describe a very specific kind of enslaved black girl. She was light-skinned, she was young, she was well-behaved. These girls were bred and sold for sex for old property-owning men. These girls, sometimes as young as 10 years old, were marketed in special auctions in places like New Orleans. They weren't sold for labor. They were sold specifically for grape. Many of these girls were the children of the very same property-owning men who graped their mothers. And that made them even more valuable. Let that sink in. Light skin could raise the selling price for these little girls. And the girl was still property. She wasn't the daughter of the man who impregnated her mother. She was property. Despite being the flesh and blood of that sperm donor, she would never be factored into any inheritance. And her father could and would use her sale as income. Think about the implications. Pale-skinned, property-owning guy impregnates an enslaved woman. Assume it's against her will because she had no choice in the matter. She has the baby and presumably raises the child until she's whatever age some pedophile buyer likes. And the child is taken away from her mom to be graped as her life's work. Some enslavers graped black women they enslaved on purpose to create children they could sell for more money because they had lighter skin or lighter eyes. Let me say that again. The grape of enslaved girls was a business strategy, and the children resulting from those grapes were treated like premium merchandise. They could sell them for more money. That mix of racism and lust is not gone. It's the same poison behind colorism, the preference for lighter skin over darker. Slavery didn't just steal labor and lives. It built an economy around domination, including sexual domination of women and girls. And fancy girls were just part of the luxury market. The story may be new to some of you. It was to me. And if it makes you sick, good. It's sickening. That means your empathy hasn't been destroyed. And if you hear these stories and learn from them, you can choose to be aware and part of the solution. Because it's not in the past. It's in our media, our policies, our comment sections. So let's stop pretending it ended when slavery ended. One share shows you care about setting the record straight.
Deuteronomy 28:41. Thou shalt beget sons and daughters, but thou shalt not enjoy them, for they shall go into captivity. Deuteronomy 28:50. A nation of fierce countenance, which shall not regard the person of the old, nor shew favor to the young. Deuteronomy 28:65. And among these nations shalt thou find no ease, neither shall the sole of thy foot have rest. But Yahweh shall give thee a trembling heart, and filling of eyes, and sorrow of mind. Joel chapter 3. Verse 1. For behold, in those days and in that time, when I shall bring again the captivity of Judah and Jerusalem, I will also gather all nations and will bring them down to the valley of Jehoshaphat, and will plead with them for my people and for my heritage Israel, whom they have scattered among the nations and parted my land. And they have cast lots for my people, and have given a boy for an harlot, and sold a girl for wine, that they may drink. And the NLT it reads, that last verse, they threw dice to decide which of my people would be their slaves. They traded boys to obtain prostitutes, and sold girls for enough wine to get drunk. And these are the scriptures that come to mind when I think of when I've heard about fancy girls. Right? So it's just something quick in the spirit, revealing the dark history of America. Right? And hey, what goes around comes around. So I'll leave it at that. With that, shalom to the elect.